All right. Hello, 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 everyone. For those of you all who do not know me, my name is Professor Stephanie Dashiell. I'm a 39-year-old college English professor from Maryland. That's how we say it. We say Maryland. We don't say Maryland. We say Maryland. Okay. That's the PG County in me. But I teach at a community college here in Maryland. And let's be clear, I have been doing these study abroad trips way before I started teaching here. I've always had a passion for learning about other cultures, traveling, and giving people those types of opportunities. So I've actually been doing these trips since 2012. So initially, these were not trips that were through any college or university organization. These are just things that, or trips that I offer with a company that specializes in educational study abroad trips. The company is named EF College Study Tours. So we'll talk more about them in a little bit, but I just wanted to introduce myself. I don't know what else you all want to know. If you have specific questions about me personally, because you might be like, I want to go to Costa Rica, but I don't know you like that. If you want to know about me personally, feel free to type your questions into the chat. And I'm going to be honest, I don't like listening to myself talk for long periods of time. So I'm okay with you unmuting your microphone and saying, Hey, professor, I have a question. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, please cut me off because I don't want to bore myself. I don't want to put myself to sleep. So, who do I need to talk about before we jump in? Oh, before we jump in, okay. So you all, I'm about to put her on the spot. She knows exactly who she is. So go ahead and mentally prepare yourself, sis. So before we jump into talking about the Costa Rica trip for 2024, y'all saw those pictures from the Paris trip, right? They look real fun, right? Well, one of the ladies who went with me to Paris, let me tell you how great she is. I just texted them or messaged them on Instagram literally an hour ago. And I do this every time. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I forgot to tell y'all my interest meeting is tonight. If you could jump on and just talk a little bit about the experience, that would be great. So I want to invite Miss Janae to just unmute, and you don't have to give a big speech, but just, talk a little bit about our experiences going to Paris and, maybe some takeaways and advice you may have for them and those types of things. So I'm going to turn this over to my girl Janae.
Hello, everybody. I'm Janae. Nice to meet everyone. So, like Professor said, I went to PG Community College, just graduated last May. So that was like basically a little graduation trip for myself, culinary arts, if you guys are familiar. So,
I like to eat.
with honors, by the way. So, I decided to go with Professor and was like, why the hell not? I have a passport and it's dusty. Never been anywhere, so let's do it. It was a hiccup for me. So make sure in the beginning, make sure you guys have all of your stuff in order, like when it comes to like your passport. And then they were very big on like the COVID test. I took my COVID test, but they didn't agree with it. So I had to take another one there. My
That was
stuff,
crazy.
that was crazy. I had to run downstairs. Then they were like, okay,
Oh, remember when I fell down the escalator?
Professor fell down the escalator. That's another story for another time. I don't know how the hell she did that, excuse my language, but we were all so confused. I was sitting there bawling my eyes out because I'm like, I didn't pay this money and I'm not going to be able to go on my trip. So luckily, of course, you see the pictures I did. But make sure that's number one, and make sure you guys get y'all's stuff in order, passports, COVID tests, the whole nine. Um, the second part, pack great shoes, walking shoes, because those were a lot of hills, steps. I can't remember. That was like the last night we walked up all them steps and we were about to have a panic attack, Professor.
Oh, I
That was,
remember that. I almost
that
died
was
that day.
I wish we recorded like how long those steps were. So just pack
I
comfortable.
did. I did record it.
That was crazy. But the food was great. Like Professor basically said everything. Food was great. Everything was great. And yeah, just have a good time. Make sure you bring somebody. If you do, bring somebody that you know. It makes the experience even better. But I already knew Professor because she was my professor, like when I first started college. And then the other girl, we clicked because we were the same sign as each other. So it was just a great bond. And then we got to know the other people that joined the trip as well because they have EF and they were from Texas. So yeah, bring someone you know, comfortable shoes, make sure you pack accordingly, get your paperwork in order.
Mhm.
And yeah, I don't want to say too much. I think that's it.
And make sure you pack a couple of days outfits in your carry-on
And your carry-on
just in
because
case
yes,
your luggage gets lost.
yes. So our luggage, the other young lady and I, we lost our luggage. Professor had hers. Like I would have made sense, like because it took me a while. My stuff wasn't even about to be on the plane anyway. But it was crazy how the other young ladies, her stuff got lost as well. So we
Which
were out
actually
of
was a good thing because she had her Apple Watch in there and we
yeah,
were
without her
tracking
Apple Watch, yeah,
everything. Yeah.
without her Apple Watch, we would probably never have found our stuff, to be honest. But yeah, so make sure pack light, I would say. And if you can pack light, make sure it goes on a carry-on. Try and pack at least 2 carry-ons if you can, if they allow you to on the plane. But yeah, nice meeting everybody. I hope you guys enjoy Costa Rica, or Italy. Italy, and
Well,
I'll
Italy
probably
first and then
y'all.
Costa Rica. Right,
Yeah,
right, right.
I'll probably see y'all in Costa Rica. Who
All right.
knows?
We'll see you, sis.
All
Thank you
right.
so much for sharing.
Of course. Now I gotta go. Okay.
All
So
right. Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right. That was amazing. So I really wanted her to come on so that you all could see I'm like a real person, and real people go on these trips. And I just wanted you to hear that out of what do the old people say? Out of the horse's mouth. I want you to hear it out of the horse's mouth. Okay, so for those of you all who are on, what do you call it? TikTok and Zoom, not TikTok and Zoom. For those of you all who are on TikTok and Instagram live right now, some of you all are asking, how can I get to the Zoom link? Just go to my profile and click my link tree, and it's the second option that says virtual interest meeting for Professor Dashiell's 2024 Costa Rica trip. All you have to do is just sign up on that, and it'll instantly give you the Zoom link, and then go ahead and join us on Zoom because I can't keep flipping the camera while I'm trying to do the presentation at the same time. All right, so because I am not stingy with anything, I'm actually going to put the link to this presentation I'm about to share with you in the chat. That way, in case somebody needs to leave early or something like that, you'll have that information. I'm sharing my screen already, so let's go ahead and just jump in there. Please tell me, no, of course, you started at the very end. I want you to take me to the beginning. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is a QR code for people who want to just stay in the loop. So you're someone who maybe you're just interested right now. You're not ready to officially commit to signing up, but you want to get all the juicy details whenever I send out correspondence, emails, things like that. So this is basically your way of getting on my email list. So feel free to scan this. If you don't do it now, that's fine. When the meeting is over, you can do it. But feel free to scan this QR code in order to stay in the loop. It's just going to ask you for your name and your email, and I think that's really it. So it's not super invasive. Okay. So our agenda for today, we're going to start by talking about my travel story. We're going to talk about when and where we're going. Obviously, we're going to Costa Rica. We're going to talk about the company that we use for these trips, EF, Education First. We're going to talk about their safety measures. We're going to talk about, the protections they put up. We're going to talk about the specific trip details and where your money is going. Okay. And for those of you all who are here because you want to know how much this trip costs, listen, I'm a straight shooter. Let's get straight to the point. There's a $200 discount for everyone who signs up, if I'm not mistaken, by April 30th. What's the last day of April? Is it April 30th or April 31st? I can't ever remember. I need to go back to elementary school. But whatever the last day of the month is, you have until the last day of the month to get that $200 discount. Now, that doesn't mean there's not going to be discounts for other months, but obviously, the sooner you sign up, the better. And you technically only need $95 to sign up. So if you are like me and you're broke as a joke, then just borrow $20 from like 4 or 5 people, um, enroll on the trip, and then we could worry about the other money piece later. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into this so I can get y'all out of here. So I already talked a little bit about myself. I'm a college English professor. I'm also a musician. I know that's very random. All of my friends were like, wait, I thought you majored in music when you were at Howard. No, I was an English major. I actually technically started out as a biology major, but that didn't work out. So I switched my major to English and I became a teacher. But on top of that, I sing for Ricky Diller and Nuji. If anybody knows gospel music, Ricky Diller is one of the goats of gospel music. I am a soprano in his choir. I also play piano, flute, piccolo, saxophone, and bassoon. And I'm a huge gamer. I'm a PlayStation girl. I love playing video games. I don't sit at home reading all day. Okay. I guess they think that's what college professors do. We just sit at home and read. No shade to people who want to read, but I'm a gamer. I like playing video games. So what travel means to me, honestly, I'm a nature girl. I love nature. And Maryland is cool, but Maryland is not all there is. Maryland is not all God created. So I want to see all of his creation. I want to see as many different places on earth as possible, even though I don't want to go to Antarctica. It's just, it doesn't look appealing to me at all. But traveling is very important to me. In 2012, that's when I first started these trips. And that was when I taught for the public school system. And I had 5 high school students that I took over to Italy and Greece. We did a 10-day tour of Italy and Greece. And when I say it was a life-changing experience, like here in America, we got some crazy stuff going on. We do. Okay. I can't even fake. But there's something super humbling about visiting other places because then you see how other people live and either it makes you grateful for what you have or honestly every time I visit a new country there's something about that culture that I just connect with and I kind of like adopted, I incorporated into my own personal culture. So it's just nice to have the opportunity to get out of your town, get out of your city, see the whole big world, meet other people, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Why I believe in faculty led study abroad? Because I don't know about you all, but I'm from Prince George's County, Maryland. And no shade, but we're one of the richest Black counties in the United States of America. Yes. Up until recently, we were the number one richest Black county in the United States of America. But our school system, I'm sorry, I gotta call a spade a spade. Like, we don't have the same opportunities as other school systems right down the street. And I have a problem with that. I have a problem with the fact when I go out into the world and I'm talking to colleagues and they're like, oh yeah, I studied in Paris for 3 years. Yeah, and I got my degree. And I'm like, you studied in Paris? Like, how you get that? Ain't nobody take me to Paris. I didn't get that opportunity. So I just want to bring opportunities to my people, that they might not normally get. Okay. I'm trying to look at the Instagram chat and the TikTok chat. And if you all have questions on Zoom, feel free to type your questions into the chat. If anybody is on Facebook right now, listen, I don't even have my Facebook up. I just clicked the button on Zoom. So if y'all are asking questions, I don't know what to tell you. Y'all might want to go to my link tree and click the second option and actually join the Zoom in order to get your questions answered. All right. So like I said, the first travel experience, we went to Italy and Greece for 10 days. It was amazing. We didn't have any issues with luggage. We didn't have any problems over there. We visited Rome. We went to the Colosseum. We visited famous fountains and it just was a great time. We ate good food. We took a boat tour from Italy to Greece. It actually was an overnight boat. So we got to sleep on the boat. It felt like a cruise. It really did. It felt like a cruise. So that was super, super fun. I just realized I forgot to tell you all my attention span is very short and I jump around a lot. I remember I said I was going to give you all the price of the trip. So when I checked earlier, it was about $3,139, okay, for this 9-day trip. And understand that that does cover, and we're going to talk about this later on in the presentation, but I know some people are here like, listen, talk to me about the money first, and then we can talk about everything else. So it's about 3,000, it's about 30, we'll say $3,200, and then they do have a $200 discount. Don't quote me exactly on the price, but I know it's in the lower 3,000s, and there's a $200 discount going on right now. So this is a great time to sign up because the closer we get to the departure, the higher the price is going to be. So if you end up changing your mind, and saying, you know what, originally I wasn't going to go to Costa Rica, but now I think I'm going to do it. If you wait until September to sign up, the trip might be 3,400 or 3,500 at that point. So I strongly encourage you all to sign up for it now. And in a little bit, we'll talk about what all of that includes. Okay. All right. And then, so we talked about the first travel experience. My 5 high school students came back very changed. The 2 things I remember the most are they missed ice. For some reason, in lots of areas of Europe, they don't use ice like we do. Like we go to McDonald's, we go, oh, I saw somebody ask a question about McDonald's. I didn't have McDonald's in Italy or Greece, but I did have McDonald's in Paris, and it tasted pretty much the same to me. It wasn't super different, but Paris is not known, well, a lot of countries in Europe have much better ingredients than we do here in the United States. But Paris is one of those countries that is not as strict. So I'm sure if I would have gone to Germany, for example, then their McDonald's probably would have been completely different. But the McDonald's that I had in Paris, it pretty much tasted the same, but they did have a lot more on their menu that we don't have here in the United States. So I was very surprised by that. And their sauces are different. Like we have sweet and sour sauce and barbecue sauce and ranch, and they had some weird sauces that I had never even heard of before. And I tried one of them. I can't remember which one it was, but it was really good. So it's nice to try new things. But back to the trip with the high school students, they were really missing ice, and some of them were like, "I'm going straight to 7-Eleven and getting a slushie as soon as I get back to the States." And then another thing that I remember the students saying was, "Oh my goodness, I just want air condition." They did have air condition where we were in Italy and Greece, but their air condition was more like, when our air condition breaks, like it's blowing out air, but it's not like cold air. That's what their air condition was like at the places that we visited. Keep in mind this was back in 2012. When I went to Paris the first time, it was the same thing. The air condition and the hotel that I was at, it just wasn't that great. But when I went to Paris with the girls last May, our air condition was fine. So they're just little small, subtle differences. All right, so let's move on. So these are a few pictures from previous trips. So these are the high school students that I went to Italy and Greece with. Was it 5? Oh, it was supposed, no, it was 5. Who is missing from this picture? Okay, I can't remember. No, maybe it was 4. Okay, it was 4 high school students. This is the gelato. And I'm going to be honest with you. This is the number one reason I'm doing another trip to Italy. I'm not going to lie. It's because Professor Dashiell is fat. That gelato was so good. And I'm not a big ice cream person at all, but it was so smooth and it was so creamy. I had gelato like 3 times per day the entire time we were in Italy. So I'm going back to Italy just because I want gelato. So you can thank my stomach if you're excited about the Italy trip that some of you all are going with me to Italy this summer or in a month. And then this was when we were in Rome in front of the Colosseum. This was from the Paris trip in front of the Eiffel Tower and Mona Lisa. So those are just a few pictures from previous trips. So why plan for your future travel now? I'm not going to read every single bullet, but the number one benefit for signing up now or planning now is the money piece. It's a lot easier to pay 3Gs when you spread it out over a whole year as opposed to you sign up 4 months before we go and then you got to scrounge around and get that money together really quickly. So if you do want to do the payment plan, you can do that. If you want to just pay as you go, you can do that as well. I know some of us are waiting for our tax returns. Some of you all may have a birthday coming up. You can say, hey, don't give me any gifts, just donate towards my trip. That's fine. But I think that's the biggest advantage of starting now. Okay. So why study abroad? This is for the people who are students, obviously. Well, not just students, anybody, everybody. There's lots of data that shows that study abroad experiences improve students' GPAs. It obviously looks good on your resume. When jobs are recruiting and hiring certain people who have global experience, that's more attractive to a lot of them. So this is a great way of getting that global experience, and being able to put that on your resume. And then they've also done studies that show that students that travel tend to have higher salaries than those that don't. So those are just a few academic or professional reasons why you should consider studying abroad. But obviously, personal reasons are, you develop yourself as a person. you can connect on a deeper level, not just with people from your area, but people worldwide. You learn more. When we went to Italy, I actually learned a lot of Italian. I'm a dork. So I printed out sheets with different phrases and words in Italian. And the entire time we were in Italy, the entire time we were in Greece, I was practicing the language, such that 10 years later, I can tell you sei molto gentile, which means you are very kind. Okay. They said my accent was good and everything when I was over there. That the Italians, and they go ciao ciao, and they do the little kisses on the cheek. It was so super fun. So it's just nice to be able to learn a new language and learn about other cultures and get those cute pictures. I mean, who doesn't want a picture with a famous site in the background? Okay. Can you say profile picture for the rest of the year? So there are lots of reasons to study abroad. So if you go through this PowerPoint in your own time, you'll see that it features some of the areas that we're going to be visiting. So if you're scared of heights and you don't want to cross this bridge, listen, we can make accommodations for, maybe we'll have them drive you around. You can meet us on the other side. But if you are a daredevil like me and you're like, yo, I'm here for it, I can see my little selfie right now, then this is just giving you kind of pictures of some of the things that we're going to do. So, Costa Rica is known for its environmental nature type of stuff. Their forests and their parks and their beaches and their volcano and all of that. So, it's really going to be all about nature. And I'm super excited to visit the hot springs because hot springs are like Earth's natural hot tubs. And sis loves a good hot tub, okay? So as you all can see, we'll be flying into San Jose. Then we'll be going to all of these other locations, most likely by bus or train or boat or something like that. And then when the trip is done, we're going back to San Jose and we're flying out from there. Okay. We are going to, now listen, y'all, I don't speak Spanish. Okay. If anybody speaks Spanish, can you tell me how to say this stuff correctly? But this is a very famous volcano that Costa Rica is known for, the Arenal volcano. It's one of the largest active volcanoes in Costa Rica. Active. They say active, y'all. We're going to take a boat tour of the Caño Negro Wildlife Refuge. Okay. And we're also going to see the La Fortuna waterfall. Anytime I Google Costa Rica, this is one of the most popular pictures that pops up. Apparently, people love going to this waterfall, and it's a whole, like, I don't want to call it a lake, sea, something, where you can go swim and, just pose under the waterfall and all of that. So sis will be doing that. And then we're also going to be spending a day at the Santa Elena Cloud Forest. So this is just giving you an idea of some of the things we're going to do. Look at their wildlife. This bird is beautiful. I'm a bird enthusiast. Like when I was a kid, I stole on accident the bird field guide from the library because I would study it every night. I would learn about the different species, their flight patterns, what they ate, so on and so forth. So I'm just there for the wildlife. I just want pictures of everything. We're also going to Manuel Antonio National Park. We're visiting a coffee plantation. We're enjoying traditional Costa Rican dinner in San Jose. Like, listen, we're going to have a great time. So let's talk about the company that we're using for this trip. EF stands for Education First. And they have a K through 12 section of the company. And then they also have a college/adult section of the company. So we are with the college/adult section of the country. But these are all of the facts about them. They're legitimate. They are accredited by several accreditation organizations. They have 55 plus years of experience. They have 600 plus schools and offices. So they don't just offer study abroad opportunities. They also offer actual English classes, actual science classes, like, real school classes as well. They have safety protocols, they have experience. And one of the things that I love about these tours is the price that you pay for the trip, it includes a 24/7 tour guide. And the tour guide is always somebody who is from that location. So our tour guide for our Costa Rica trip is going to be someone who actually lives in Costa Rica and is from Costa Rica and knows how to speak both languages. So this is a great way of being able to travel and not have to worry about, especially being a single Black woman. We hear all the time, don't travel by yourself, it's dangerous, and this, that. Here, we could travel in a group, we can live our best lives. We have people who are from the area and know where to go, where not to go, what to do, what not to do. So it's just nice having a company that could support us in that way. Plus, they have office locations in every tour or destination area that they offer. So it's not like they're in the United States and they're sending us over to Costa Rica and we got to call a US number if we need help. No, if we have issues in Costa Rica, we call them and their office is 5, 10, 15 minutes down the road. Boom, instantly they can assist us with whatever it is that we need. So that's one of the things that I love about them. Okay. So what safety measures can you expect? Like I just said, you're going to have a 24/7 personal tour director. Janae's not on the call anymore, but if she was, I was going to ask her, did we have to look up anything on Yelp or Google reviews? No, because when we wanted to know where to get fresh cannolis or where to get this, where to get, we talked to our tour director who's from that place and who could give us the inside scoop. Like, everybody goes to that one, but the real one is over there. So we got that inside scoop. Like I said, having an actual office location there and a safety team there in Costa Rica is another safety measure. There's also a 24-hour emergency line, and it is a true 24-hour emergency line, because when those girls, when their luggage got lost, first thing I did was I called that emergency line. I was like, y'all need to help us find these bags, okay? Because these girls need some draws, all right? They also take COVID very seriously. Obviously, when we did the Paris trip, they made us take tests before we got on the plane. And then when we were there, we had to take a test the day before we came back. Obviously, they've released some of those restrictions. They now have COVID exemption in case you're one of those people who decided not to get the vaccine. You can still go. All you got to do is just fill out a little form, and it's all good. Okay, so they're very serious about COVID, so you don't have to worry about them being reckless in that way. And then they have a peace of mind policies, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. But basically, that means there's a certain window of time that when you sign up, if you decide, you know what, I'm not going to go after all, then you'll be able to get all of your money back without having to worry about losing any money, as long as it's within that peace of mind period. All right. So how can you protect your investment? So this slide is basically talking about their global protection plan. And if you were to go to my website, not my website, but the website for this trip, let me pull it up. I have it already ready for you. Okay, so this is the website for the Costa Rica trip. And let's say you were ready to actually enroll, okay? You would go to the enrollment page, which looks like this. And as you can see, they've activated that $200 off. You would click the pink Enroll Now button. When you click that button, it's going to ask you if you want to add global protection to your plan. Global protection is kind of like an insurance plan. So if you lose your luggage or your wallet, or if you have a medical emergency, then you can get assistance. But a lot of us already have our own insurance that also follows us if we travel internationally. So one great way to save $165, don't tell EF I told you this, but one great way to save $165 is to just opt out of the global protection plan if you have your own insurance and stuff like that. If you decide to keep it on, then when you go to enroll, it's going to charge you for that $95 to lock in your spot plus the 165. So that's like $255 or something like that. If you could swing it, go ahead and do it. If you're like, no, I think I want to save a little coin, I'm just going to do the 95, that's fine. But just know that it's a one-time thing. Like, if you choose not to take advantage of the global protection, you can't change your mind later and then say, oh, can I add it on? Because it's too late at that point. Okay. All right, let me jump back into this. So that's what that slide was about, the global protection. Now let's talk about the good stuff. What is included in that price of 3,000 something, 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 something? That price includes round trip airfare, and every plane that we've been on has been nice. It has had plugs. I played The Sims the entire time when we were on the way to Italy the first time. Um, I was sitting on my cell phone the entire time. The girls and I went to Paris last year. So they have plugs, they have those built-in TVs where you can watch the on-demand movies. And I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I really enjoy the airplane food. I don't know what they do, but it's hot, it's delicious. You just peel the plastic wrap off top and you just dig in and eat. It filled me up enough to get me to the destination with no problems. So it covers round trip airfare. It covers hotels every day. Okay. It covers a bilingual tour director that's with us 24/7. That price also covers any transportation we take while we're on the trip. So if we get on the metro, if we get on a charter bus, if we get on a boat, if we get on a helicopter or whatever. Okay, I've never been on a helicopter, but whatever transportation we take while we're there, that price covers that as well. It also covers any of our guided tours. It covers entrance fees to the different sites that we're going to visit. So, for example, when we went to the Louvre in Paris, when we went to the Colosseum in Rome, it covers the price of, entering those types of places. It also covers breakfast every day and some dinners. So what we did last year when we were in Paris was we would just go, and yes, I'm ghetto. Okay, I'm just letting you know that now. I packed Ziploc bags in my suitcase, and when we went to Paris, I would stock up on croissants and sandwiches and this and that. And our rooms did have like the little mini kitchens in it. So I would just put the stuff in the refrigerator, and that way I had something to snack on throughout the rest of the day without having to spend my money unless I just wanted to. So it covers breakfast every day, and it also covers some dinners. Normally it's like dinner on the first night and the last night, but every experience is different. That price also covers they support you very well, in preparation for the trip. So if you need assistance with passport, visa, if you need assistance with paperwork or, whatever, they help you all with all of that. So all of that is what it covers. Okay. It does not cover, obviously, your passport and visa fees. It doesn't cover airport baggage fees. We've never had airport baggage fees because we always look up the airport and how many bags we're allowed to take, and we just pack what we're allowed to take. We don't do a bunch of extra. Okay. And then obviously lunches and snacks are going to be on your own. If you want to do any shopping while you're there, you're going to need to use your own money for that. And they do encourage that you bring a little extra just so we can give the tour director a tip. I've had wonderful tour directors that even if EF didn't tell me to tip them, I would have tipped them anyway because they just did such a good job and they took such good care of us. And then let's see. So the worry-free enrollment period. So you can enroll now and understand that you have 30 days to receive a full refund if you change your mind. So the enrollment free or the worry free enrollment period only lasts for 30 days. But if you pay your $95 now to lock in your spot and your price, and let's say in 2 weeks you find out that, I don't know, your cousin has her wedding during that time period, you can be like, all right, EF, I can't go. Can I have my money back? And they'll give you all your money back with no problems. So I know the question you're thinking. What happens if it's after the 30-day enrollment, worry-free enrollment period, and for some reason I can't go? It depends on how much you've paid. If you've paid like $2,000, you'll get a majority of that back. I think if you do the global protection fee, they don't give you that back, and the $95 enrollment fee, they don't give you that back. But everything else, they do give you that back. Or you have the option of just rolling all of your money over to another trip. So let's say I have a 2025 trip that goes to South Africa. I don't know. You can roll all your money over to that trip and just go to South Africa, and they'll just credit you that $2,000 that you had paid for your Costa Rica trip. Any questions so far? Because I feel like I've been talking a whole lot. Let me look through these live comments.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So where do we go to find out the payment plan?
Okay, I'll show you that in a second. I think that might be okay.
I have a
So
question.
go ahead. Okay. Next question.
I know this one is in 24.
Mhm.
How far in advance do you know where you're gonna go?
That's a great question. I need to get myself together because I should be thinking about 2025 already, but I'm just trying to get myself together about 2024. Where would you want to go in 2025? How about we start there?
Because I was looking to go somewhere out like Bali or Dubai.
I like the way you think. So that really is what my delay is. You know, I like to survey my students. I like to survey the social media communities and see what areas they're interested in visiting. And then from there, I contact EF and I'm like, hey, do you all have trips to this area? And I really just choose stuff based on price because originally 2024, we were supposed to go to Ghana. We were, and I'm still hurt that I ended up having to switch it to Costa Rica. No shade to Costa Rica. I'm really excited about Costa Rica, but it just got a little too expensive. It got to the point where it was like close to $8,000. And a lot of my people can't afford that. So I like to pick trips that are closer to $3,000, $4,000, not $8,000. So it really just depends on the price. But now that I know that's an area that people are interested in, I'll look and see. But in terms of when I'll decide, I'll probably decide sometime within the next 2 months where we're going for 2025. Okay, so just stay connected. Any other questions? Hey Art, how you doing? Hey Mook on the daily, how you doing? All right. So I always request a certain time period. So as you can see, I've requested that we leave around June 25th, 2024 and return around July 3rd, 2024. So y'all can get back in time enough for, what's that holiday they celebrate? 4th of July. I don't celebrate 4th of July. I celebrate Juneteenth. But for those who do celebrate 4th of July, you might want to get back so you can hit the cookouts and see the fireworks. So that would be my desire for us to get back the 3rd. But they give us like a window, a range. So we don't know our actual departure date until about a month before, month and a half before. But just know it's going to be around late June that we leave, and it's going to be around early July that we get back. I know some of you all have kids that are in school that don't get out until the 15th, that don't get out until the 20th. The great thing is they'll be out of school. You can send them to grandma's house for 2 weeks and go to Costa Rica with me and live your best life. All right, so how can you make this happen financially? Okay, so I was a little under. So the trip is actually $3,319 in full, okay? If you were to do a monthly payment plan, that would just be $248 a month. Now, I'm a teacher. They don't pay me that much, okay? But I could swing $248 a month. I could. If you do bi-weekly, it's $124 a month. No matter what choice you choose, $95 deposit, like as soon as you can, so that you can lock in your rate. Because like I said, in a couple months, this $33.19 is going to end up being $35.19. In a couple months after that, it might be $36.19, so I want you all to lock in this rate while it's low. I personally like the option of just doing the $95 deposit and then just doing payments as I can. Sometimes I don't want to commit to a monthly payment because, the way my bill's set up, I might not have it 1 month. Okay. So that's what the price is. And as you can see, there's a discount, a $200 discount. So that brings the price down to $3,119. In total, if you do the monthly plan, it's $233. If you do the biweekly, it's $116. Any questions about the money? Now, they don't have it on this PowerPoint, but I do want to point this out because I don't want anybody to be surprised. I don't want anybody to feel like they were tricked. So this is the website, and let me put this in the chat in case anybody wants it. Okay. So this is our website that just gives you information, our itinerary, those types of things. And as you can see, that price is for the triple quad room. That means there will be 3 to 4 people in the room. The 2 girls that went to Paris with me, they both paid, well, one of them paid for the triple quad room, but the way it worked out, they ended up in a double. So they were able to stay in a double without having to pay the double price. I'm not saying that will happen this time, but my point is, if you're like, I don't want to stay with a bunch of people, then fine, go ahead and pay a little bit more for the twin room. And I should let you know that if you're 30 or up, they automatically put you in the twin room. Just because of your age, they want you to have privacy and all that type of stuff. You do not have to share a bed with anyone. So even if you're in the triple quad room, everybody has their own bed. I always tell people, if you're able to just do the triple quad room, do that, because we're not going to be in the room like that anyway. We're going to be out and about. We'll literally be in the room long enough to sleep, and then boom, we're out. Okay. So I just wanted to clarify that, because I don't want anybody to feel like they were misled from the PowerPoint, because I think somehow that didn't get in here. Okay. So once you sign up for the trip, let's talk about how we can support you financially. Okay. You might not have to pay your whole $3,300, because they have scholarships. There are 3 scholarships that they offer multiple times throughout the year. And I pretty much force my people to apply for the scholarship. I mean, I don't force them. If they don't want to, they don't have to. But I strongly encourage them to apply for the scholarship. Because if you could win, I'm not sure how much it is, but let's say it's $2,000. If you can win that $200,000 or $2,000 scholarship and apply it to your price, then you don't have to come out of your pocket that much. Another benefit is everybody who signs up for the trip, they get a personal donation page, kind of like a GoFundMe. So let me show you what I mean. Let me go over to my link tree. You all know I have a trip coming up in a month to Italy, and I have 3 students that set up their donation site. So if you look here at Taylor's donation site, originally she had to raise $4,469. As you can see, between donations and between her doing her payments, she has nothing left that she has to pay. Okay. And literally people would go, oh wait, let me show you one that still has a balance so you can see. All right, so Rena, she just signed. She was one that signed up recently. She just signed up within the last 2 months. As you can see, hers was 48. Because remember, like I said, if you're 30 and up, they automatically put you in the double room. But as you can see, she only has $500 left to go. So I need sometime this weekend make a video and put it on social media like, hey, can y'all donate? She only needs $500 to meet her goal. But the person would just click make a contribution, boom, put in their information, and voila, it's super easy to donate. So when I say, if you have a birthday coming up, if Christmas is coming up, just tell them, don't give me no gifts. Just donate to my trip. Or listen, you love Starbucks as much as me. Can you sacrifice your Starbucks for 3 months, and whatever you would have spent at Starbucks, just donate that towards my trip. You'll lose weight in the process, because they put way too much sugar in their stuff, you know. So there are other ways we like to support you. And then I like to do my own fundraisers, whether it's Double Good Popcorn, or when I went out with the students, the high school students, we did all types of fundraisers. We did, for Valentine's Day, we did a, what do you call it? A dating auction. We did a dating auction. We, I can't remember all the fundraisers we did, but we would go out and we would rent different places, and we would have actual fundraiser events. So if you're like, listen, I don't know how I'm going to pay for it, I just know I want to go, don't stress about the money. Just sign up, $95, and we'll work out the rest of the money piece later. Okay. All right. Next slide. My goal is to get at least 30 people on this trip. Okay. Typically, I've had anywhere from 2 to 7 people go on these trips with me. Listen, I want to make it bigger and better. Normally, when I have a small group, they tag us on to somebody else's trip, which is fun because we get to meet all types of new people from different areas. But I feel like if it's just us, then we really can cut up and act a fool, because then we don't have to be on our best behavior in front of strangers. Okay. So there's a QR code here for the people who are ready to actually sign up with their $95. Feel free to scan this. I say between now and the end of the month, go ahead, go through the process of signing up, doing your $95. If you want to do the global protection fee, you can add that on as well. But I just wanted to make sure you all have that QR code in case you want to go ahead and just lock it in. All right. So if you want my contact information, that is the very last slide. My email is stephaniem-shield@gmail.com. Here's my link tree that has all of my sites, but my specific website is right there. And I do want to take the time to say, let's say you really want to go on one of my trips, but you're just not in a place right now where you can go. I plan on doing this every single year. So let's say it's 3 years from now and you forget all about me, and then you randomly think like, wait, what's that professor's name that does the study abroad trips? Oh yeah, Professor Dashiell. If you go to professor-dashiell.com, which I ain't gonna lie, might not be Professor Dashiell for too much longer. You know what I'm saying? That name might change, but for right now, it's professor-dashiell.com. And if you click study abroad, I will always have my study abroad information for my current trips up there. Okay. So in the future, if you want to just, hey, I wonder what trip she's doing this year, feel free to follow me on social media, of course. But you also can just kind of bookmark this site and then just check it every so often. So I am done with my speech. Oof, I missed my goal of 30 minutes, but it's okay. I think I got you all the information you need. But what questions do you have for me? Whether you're on TikTok, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on Facebook. Well, no, Facebook people, I can't see your questions. I'm sorry. But whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Zoom, what questions do you all have for me? You can either type them in the chat or you can unmute and ask. Oh, one thing I didn't say is they will allow people as young as 13 to go on these trips. Because remember, we're on the college student / adult side of the company. So I know some of you all have children that you might want to sign up to go on the trip with us. If your child is 13 or older at the time of departure, then you're fine to sign your child up. But if your child is younger than 13, then they won't be able to go with us. Unfortunately, my kids are 6 and 8, and I'm like, well, y'all hurry up and grow up so y'all can travel the world with me. So, what questions do you all have?
I have a question.
Okay.
So you're doing Costa Rica with this company. Does the company have other trips that they're doing with other professors?
Yes, they do. So let's say you're a professor and you're like, this is dope. I want to do this for my people. Contact EF, let them know that you want to set up a tour. And let me show you really quickly. EF College Study. Let me go to there right here. EF Study Abroad. Browse programs. You'll see they have all types of programs. So let me see. Faculty led. Okay, I want to know the list of places. Okay. You're gonna have to do a little bit of a dive. I don't want to take us down the rabbit hole, but yes, go on their website and just see what places they offer. I know they have a Japan trip, they have Amsterdam, Germany, Brussels, Paris, Italy, Greece, Costa Rica, Peru, Belize. They have tons of trips. They have a South Africa trip and they have a Ghana trip. Those are the only Africa trips that they have. But they have Australia. They have an Australia trip. They have lots of different trips. Any other questions? I feel like I saw.
Oh.
Go ahead.
So when we're going to start paying, we go to the EF Study Abroad.
Yeah, so once you sign up with your $95, then that's up to you. If you sign up for the payment plan, then you'll schedule whenever that payment will be, right? And if you sign up for the pay as you go, then you'll just put your $95 down. And they're trusting that between now and next June, you'll make sure you get that balance down. Okay, so just think about your birthday, think about Christmas, think about tax time, think about times where you get, larger checks. Okay. And just be ready to just drop that money on your account. That was a good question though. Any other questions? Did I hit everything? I think I hit everything. Is anybody excited? I'm excited. I've always wanted to visit Central and South America. So this is not going to be my only time that I'm going down south, but I just decided to do Costa Rica for now because we were supposed to go to Costa Rica in 2020 when the pandemic happened. And I ended up having to cancel that trip because y'all know the whole world shut down. So this is a full circle moment for me. Costa Rica was supposed to be my first college level trip. And I never got to do that one. So now I finally get to go back and do Costa Rica. It was messing with my OCD. Any other questions in the chat or anywhere else? Hey, pretty little TT. Do they provide accessibility for wheelchair users? I was in the process of recruiting someone who was a wheelchair user. And at that time, I reached out to EF and they said, yes, they will make accommodations. Obviously, it depends on the location. So now that I know that's a possibility, I'll have that conversation with Bianca Renzoni. That's our tour director, or our tour, what do you call it? Our travel agent. That's our travel agent. So I will contact her and I'll say, hey, in relation to the Costa Rica trip, if we have someone who uses a wheelchair, can we make accommodations for them? You know, can we make sure that any buses we take or any public transportation or any sites we visit can accommodate that? Okay. So whoever that is, just jump in my DMs and let me know that that's you so that I can remember to ask those questions and get that answer to you. Somebody said, come to Ireland and I'll be your tour guide. I actually would love to go to Ireland. I do. They got good food over there. Any other questions? So the donations are for everyone. Okay, so each person has their own donation site. So let's say Pookie sets up her donation site. When people donate to Pookie's link, then that money goes to Pookie's trip. Now, in situations where I do the fundraising, normally I have a specific strategy in mind. Like, for example, if I have 10 people going on the trip and I raise $1,000, I'm going to put $100 on all of their trips, right? But there may be people who are like, I don't need you to pay for my trip. You know, I'm good. You know, I got it. My trip is already paid for. Then I'll use the money for whoever needs it, if that makes sense. Okay. So it really just depends. But normally when I do a fundraiser, I set those guidelines before the fundraiser even starts. So everybody's on the same page. Okay. The only fundraiser I did for the Italy trip was the Double Double Good popcorn fundraiser. We did that like 2 or 3 times. The first time I just split whatever we made and put it on 3 of the students' trips. And then the second time I split it with 2 of the students because they were the ones that, you know, needed it. So we knew all of that going into it. All right. Somebody else said, oh, I answered that question already. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut off the recording, but I'll stick around on the Zoom call in case anybody has any questions. And I just thank you for hanging out with me today. And I hope I see you in Costa Rica 2024. Let's go.
Yes.